Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Casually Grounded
Hey,
2. Apologies, we didn't have a lot of streams, this past month or so. We've had a lot of things going on. We had the Extra Life Charity Marathon, but we're back. If you guys forgot who I am, I'm just going to reintroduce myself. I'm Eric Dorbella, Senior Community Manager here at Obsidian Entertainment. And let's reintroduce yourself, Marcus.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is... Hi, Marcus Morgan, Executive Producer of Grounded 2.
Hey everybody, Chris Parker. I am the Game Director for Obsidian on Grounded 2.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
For one week only.
We're back. Then you won't see us for another month.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back again.
Yeah, so we wanted to have this stream today to talk about stuff, but just mainly about Grounded 2 and, like a sneak peek behind the curtains of things that we're doing and how decisions are made and showing off cool concept arts for the winter update. But yeah, also just so we can share the news, but then say like, okay, we're gonna take a break for the holidays and we'll be back in the New Year's. But
I'm gonna rip off some Band-Aids.
Okay.
I wanna rip off Band-Aids and I wanna do a little side note and then we can get into, I think we have lots of time, so hopefully the chat wants to chill with us for a little bit. So, Band-Aid rip off. The big meaty content update that we're gonna do, we aren't gonna release this calendar year. We will have news about that in early January. So just to set the stage, we're gonna have more news about that in early January. But we are, like Eric said, gonna go through a little bit more of just some of the development of the content for that, including the Ladybug update and the Ladybug buggy. And we're gonna take you behind the scenes of kind of what we've been working on, show maybe what might be worked on in the future, maybe what we threw away that maybe comes back or doesn't. Yeah. So we'll get some reactions out of that too. So I want to rip the Band-Aid off to say, I'm sorry, that won't be there. On the flip side though, we will have a feature update that will come in early December. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a couple minutes too. So we will have some stuff. That'll include a lot of holiday decorations and a lot of
tech
updates that will help with things like performance across a lot of different platforms. So we will have some stuff here, but not the content updates. So ripping that off.
So I noticed you said feature update.
Yes.
So what is the difference for our community? What is the difference between a feature update and a content update?
So we've been talking about this a lot because we say update all the time, and
that can mean anything.
It can mean anything.
It can mean anything. We're like, it's a patch. It's a content update. Like, what is this update? I think that's confusing.
So we thought it was important to start to delineate between when are those big, meaty content updates, like our early access release or the garden or anything in the future, the ones that we really label, and then when are kind of other updates and making sure you understand them and there be more feature updates. So from now on, we'll start calling them separately, and feature updates will be everything from even just the Axle level updates will probably be more feature focused updates, and then content updates will be things like the garden, big biomes,
like
big
chunks,
everything included.
Chunks of the park with at least chunks of, pre-worldwide launch story, with quests and all of that new stuff. Those big meaty things will be content updates.
Before we dive into that stuff, though, I want to go into it, but I want to make one little detour, one super quick detour. I want to give a big thank you to the community because you all contributed so much energy and money to our extra live stream.
Oh, yeah.
And that was such a huge thing where we raised over $40,000 that all went to the Children's Hospital of Orange County. And sincerely, seeing you all show up, all of the folks, all of the big creators in the community, all of you all as the players, I just want to say, out of everything we do, the fact that we can have that level of impact, not just in making cool games, but also making people's lives better. Thank you for that. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for being so awesome. So I did just want to give just a big shout out to all the folks. I know I had a couple feuds in chat with some of the creators that resulted in some donations. I know that other creators gave some really awesome, generous gifts. So thank you all so much for your efforts in that. It was huge. So I just wanted to say that too before we get into all of the content stuff.
Cool. I wanted to say one other thing too.
Go for it.
So in the past, and this is part of our talking about feature updates and content updates, we've only ever really used the PTB, the public test beta, for big content updates. Like there are times in the future where we're now going to use that also for feature updates. And like we actually think this would have been a good time to do it, but we think it would have been confusing. So just know that in the future, sometimes we're going to start putting stuff up on the public test beta for things like, buggy progression or something like that, where there may not be a big chunk of content, but there's something cool or something important that we want, those of you who are out there that sort of want the early access updates to check out and provide feedback on. We're gonna start doing that. We'll make it really clear whether they are content updates or whether they're feature updates or whatever. Just wanna let you know that we're gonna start doing that in the near future. So, if that means you wanna opt out of those, that's totally fine, right? Like, if that means more of you wanna opt in, even better. But we just wanna start getting everybody sort of used to that. Because in the past, we've only really done those for content updates. And we just think, man, we could get more out of this if we do it for more of these updates.
Agreed. I know we've been blabbering a lot. One last thing before we get into our slideshow, which will kind of show kind of what's coming in this feature update in December, and then what's going to come in the big content update in January, particularly with the Ladybug, is the other thing we want to do. And a reminder is, when we first started this journey, we had kind of talked about how we wanted to do bigger, more meaty updates that were spread further apart, because we noticed that when you all do get big content updates, like that's what you really love, that's what you can really sink your teeth into, and it gives us more time to digest the feedback, iterate, and make sure those updates are really meaningful. And I can tell, which is great, everybody is like, hey, where's the content? Where's the new content?
Right.
Give us more stuff. So the spirit of today is kind of the jumping off point of, in between those times, we are going to be a lot more proactive of giving you a sneak peek about what's going on. So we still want to keep surprises. We never want to kind of like avail it, but we see the demand of like, you all just want to know, you all want to see, you all want to iterate on like that kind of conception phase. And so this will be the first start of that journey where we do that more regularly. We're going to figure out what the right cadence is. Maybe it's once a month, maybe it's more, maybe it's less. Yeah. But that's the point of this too, is in between those big updates, we will update you more and we will share more. So today it'll be a lot of screenshots and concept art. Next time, maybe we'll show like some in-progress build stuff, all of that sort of thing.
It could be like a Q&A thing too. So
exactly.
Absolutely.
So just like this, an introduction of the Casual Gratitude Fireside chat with the dev team.
Cool.
You want to, before we show off the content stuff, do you want to talk about?
We should do a lead in to the actual feature update that we have coming up.
Let's do it.
Exactly.
So with this coming update, I think there's a lot of stuff going into it that's not all going to be like immediately like visible. I think the biggest thing is that we've updated the engine from Unreal 5.4 to Unreal 5.6. I know that doesn't sound very flashy or very exciting, but trust me when I say, in terms of performance, you're gonna see a lot of subtle improvements, even on the Series X, which is typically running at 60 frames a second all the time. It does have some frame drops here and there, but particularly like when it's streaming in new areas and stuff like that, you'll see those frame hits. Those are a lot more smoothed out. They feel so much better. It's pretty much running 60 pretty much all the time now. On PC, you're also going to see those improvements. We're also going to have some big ads that folks have been asking for a while, right? Like, how come you can't enable FSR or DLSS? Those things are coming. So those are in this update as well. We actually ran into, we test like crazy on this stuff. We actually ran into a big bug just this week. And so we're still hammering out a couple of kinks in this update and figuring out the last of it. But there's some big feature updates in there in terms of performance and hopefully, improving those things that, it's one of the biggest things that people have talked about is like, hey, how do we get some more frames out of the game? How do we improve performance? And so these are going to be some big steps in that direction. Pretty excited about that stuff. Also got in some community feedback. I don't have a list in front of me, but some of it's like small, some of it's bigger. Some of it's just like, hey, we want to place floors on foundations. I know that one got in there. Yep. Like, can you make it so that my buggy stops being in my goddamn face all the time whenever I'm trying to do something? Respect my space, buggy. Like, got in some fixes for that stuff. Just a lot of like little quality of life things that we think you'll all be happy about. Obviously, those things will get listed out in like patch notes for the update when that's coming out, but a bunch of little stuff. It's going to be a good update. It's obviously not the content update, but we're super stoked about it. Can't wait to get it out to all you folks.
Also, I do want to also say, winter is a broad
It is.
broad
Window.
term
It is an entire
that we
season.
tend to
It is a whole
use
season.
all the time, and know like this is always the balance that we want to strike, right? Like being transparent, telling you all stuff
Yeah.
early on. Winter's a broad term, and I promise it'll still be firmly in winter. It'll just be a little bit, later into winter when the snow's really falling for some people. Not here in
Sure.
California.
Not here. I mean, well, yeah, Southern California.
Southern California, yeah.
Right.
True. But yeah, the December update, the feature update, I think it's actually going to be for a lot of folks super valuable. The other thing we kind of think about is it's a lot easier to do a lot more of the technical work to clean things up when we're not pushing out new content simultaneously, because then you have to go around and optimize
Very true.
both. So having this little window of time where I know it sucks, I know you all want more stuff to do in the game, but having this little bit of time to clean that up, make sure that when new people are joining or when you all are playing, like more and more people are having an enjoyable experience, especially across different types of like PC setups and different rigs. So that's really the goal of this.
I do want to set maybe not calling precedent is wrong, but since we are updating the engine to 5.6,
Yeah.
and we can only test the update on our end on so many computers. So do you want to talk about any potential issues that might happen in the December update?
Yeah, man, it'd probably be on fire. I don't know. We tested. We do a ton of testing. We do. Like, we've got entire QA teams. We got tons of different computers. We do compatibility testing. But I'll tell you what, like, for the 100 ish rigs we might test this on, like, that's nothing compared to a few thousand people that are going to be playing this game right away. They all have different rigs. They've got different hardware. Even though we try and test against all that stuff, I'll just be honest. Like, we're still a relatively small team. So, we will do as much as we can. Certainly don't want any of you folks in the community thinking that you're doing QA for us. We've done the maximum amount of QA we can. Yeah. But you know what? There may be some issues out there that we don't know. That's kind of just what happens when you're in early access and you're turning around builds like this. So look, fingers crossed, we're super solid, but like with any update or any patch, we might be patching the update quickly after if something blows up on us.
Exactly. Cool.
Yeah, great. So TLDR, we're gonna have feature updates versus content updates, where content has meaty, chunky, longer updates. Where feature content is like engine upgrade, performance, small little things that you would add to the game. So you guys ready to peel back the curtain and show off some cool stuff?
Let's show off some cool stuff. That's first coming in our feature update, and then we'll go into some ladybug stuff.
And pretty much everything we're going to show you guys is all concept work, right? So only some of it's actually realized in the game, but it's to sort of set it up and talk about like, hey, how did we come up with this stuff? What are we doing? What are you going to see?
I do have one other thing I want to say. We gave that little tease of the woolly aphid.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny watching everyone's reaction and be like, oh, like that's cool, but that's it? And then people taking a second rewatch and be like, wait, what's that? Wait,
right?
What's that over there? And I'm just gonna say this, like in general, like I love Easter egg. Like I always love like putting little things here or there. And I'm saying this ahead of what we're about to do right now too, because we might always put stuff out there. And maybe this is part of the fun of us being in early access and us doing this from more regularly is, maybe take a second look at what we put out there to see if you can find some things or talk about some things, because we might hide more than what's just on the surface. From like what we put on our key art to what we put in the game or any other trailers. Like we always try to put a little bit more for people to look through. So I just want to call that out too, of maybe there's always a little bit more on the surface than what we initially show or what's out there. And I like to watch people have fun trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's do it.
All right. So speaking of December update, that means holiday stuff.
Holiday stuff. And you're gonna get a big brown tree for your base. No, I'm kidding.
No colors.
No colors. No whatever. Chris, you wanna go through?
No, just to say, like, you know, when we look at stuff, we usually do at least a few different concepts. So when we were looking at doing in this holiday update a Christmas tree, we did 3 different kinds. The ones on the left is bug legs. The one in the middle is using weed stems, and then the one on the right is using some sort of
Is it clover?
no, they're insect pieces. The carapace. The leaves are the carapace of insects with then lights on it. And so, we kind of look at like, hey, how do we take like a different take on this and come up with something that looks or feels cool that's still like, well, as in world as you're going to get with like, what is effectively a holiday tree here. But yeah, if you flip over to the next slide, you can
All right,
see
this one's for Jade because he was mad there were going to be no screenshots.
There you go. Boom. Screenshot.
Boom.
So this is what it
Screenshot.
ultimately becomes.
Yeah, so it looks like that. And obviously this is lit normally, like during the day, and then at night, obviously the lights will all be lit up on their own, so you get a kind of cool, like, little Christmas tree effect. Of course, we throw hoops in there so you can see scale. But this is how this stuff comes together. Just fun things for us to throw into the game. To kind of go along the same thing, we knew that people would want to hang up their own lights. So, like...
Okay, yeah.
So we started experimenting with different lights. Go for it, Chris. Keep going. You're on
More?
a roll, man. I
Oh,
talk
what?
too much.
Yeah, no, so like, what are different types of lights that would make sense? Like, I'm not sure that glow sticks make a whole lot of sense, but we have them in there, so, maybe we make an entire string out of glow sticks, maybe we just use crystals. I don't even remember what that stuff is on the top.
Sap?
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
it just sap with a light
Like if
stuck
it
in
was
it?
like if you did glass blowing but with sap as a tiny
Yeah.
miniature
Sap
person.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
we didn't do those. We did the one on the bottom with the crystals.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can string those up across the wall.
Can you hide
and
our
they light
camera,
the night.
Chris?
Just a second.
Just a second. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So this is just a little taste of the stuff that we're going to have there in the holiday update. We got a bunch of stuff going on. Of course, we got some big changes actually in the world, right? So there are Christmas lights hung up across the snack bar and in the Twin Pines area. And then, of course, there's stuff that you can build. And there will be some little rewards. So this will be very, very early in December. We'll get this to everybody out there as a little holiday update.
So there won't just be a tech thing. We always are lower the bar. It won't just be a tech thing. There will be some stuff to kind of go out and do to celebrate the holidays, to decorate your bases. We love the holiday kind of like updates and added features, and we want to actually continue to grow and expand on this. I mean, we were after Halloween, we were already talking about like all of the other stuff we wanted to do for Halloween the following, like next year. So we want to keep expanding like how we celebrate like different holidays, and because it can be really fun kind of and grounded. So I hope you all enjoy this stuff and get excited. Yeah, early December you'll be able to check this out in addition to all of the technical
The tech
updates that we
stuff,
have.
yeah, the optimizations and performance. All right, let's see what's next.
I think we're moving into Ladybug development. And so here's a little preface on all this. Some of these concepts are actually pretty old.
Yes.
Right? Some of them go back to near the start of the project. We took the entire sort of history of our trials and tribulations with trying to figure out this buggy and are putting them on display for you. And if this works and if you guys dig it, we can kind of do these sort of deep dives into features like this in the future. We also know y'all are gonna take screenshots of all this stuff and dissect it and try and look through it and see like whatever crazy stuff is going on in here. And so for the most part, we left our little notes on here and whatever else and are like, you know what? Check it out. Look at all the like crazy stuff that we talked about in our journey to get to where we got to. In a handful of places, I went through and I sort of sanitized this. You'll see I have a little woolly aphid sticker that I slapped in a couple of places. But trust me, if there was anything that we were okay with letting slip through to you folks, we did. So yeah, what you're seeing here, these are actually some slightly more recent turrets with us like trying to figure out, like, do we just want the turret on the back? Can we still do this? Actually, wait, let me take a step back.
Yeah.
So originally the Ladybug, we were like, this is going to be our co-op buggy.
Yep.
And I think we told you all that. We probably even showed you some concepts or thoughts about what we were going to do with that. Our high concept was like, how do we make this like
No, you can show us now.
a sort of like a tank-like sort of buggy. So somebody's manning the turret, somebody's driving it, kind of like a slower version of a Warthog or something like that. And so, you know, these are some explorations of that. Maybe it's just a tank that's driven by one person, or maybe it's two people. What should the actual turrets look like? And so that's just a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah, and I'll say that even early on, like when I came on last time, I talked about how it was supposed to be multiplayer. You can kind of start to see some of the challenges we were facing. I think there's two that stood out to me. Was one, real estate on the Ladybug. Like you see the things have to start being built off and protruding, and it's so incredible to me, by the way, just how the concept team at Eidos like figures out how to kind of make it work, and then we have to realize that kind of in 3D. But like even that, it's starting to reach this limit of making the buggy feel like off balance and awkward and like not like it would really fit. And then the second piece that you can kind of see here is where we actually place the turret, and then how that camera work would work between like if you're manning the like kind of driving the buggy versus manning the turret, and not being able to accidentally like both shoot your partner in the back of the head with your acorn cannon, or be able to shoot up and around in kind of a 360. So this is where some of this like tensions really, even early in concept, started to emerge, where we were like, well, we still want to move forward. Like, let's try it. Like, let's try it. Let's see what we can learn. Let's see what we can explore, because we know we want to do a multiplayer buggy.
Yeah.
So
How do we do it?
Let's try to push this as far as we can to figure out how we do it.
I mean, there were a bunch of prototypes too. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, but if you
We're
want to
gonna
go
show
to,
you, like-
we'll keep going. We don't have people to be able to read every little sticky note beforehand.
Yeah.
But like,
so
here
again,
we're more.
so like this is what we're talking about. How many different concepts we were like, okay, so if we put the turret like right on top of the buggy with the player in it, like it starts obstructing the camera view. So what can we do to maybe lessen that? Can we make it so that the player stands on the back and operates the turret from there while the other player is still riding in the front? You know, will this work? This was actually an idea that sounded good on paper and really practically just really didn't work. The camera couldn't feel good. It was sort of impossible. And so, yeah, this was something we just tinkered with very quickly and said, like, never mind, we're not even going to really try this.
So I see some questions coming through chat too, from like,
yeah,
how
I'm
is
looking.
all this work like if you're playing solo? So that was the other thing that we were trying to figure out or determine was were things like, if some people don't play multiplayer, so if we have a multiplayer buggy, we have to make it functional in solo. And so how do we have you quickly swap seats maybe between between being in the driving position and manning the turret? We did get some good prototypes that figured out how to do that
Yep, we were
over
able to do
time.
that.
Yeah.
But that was 100% another consideration we had was just making sure, or do you have to like get out of the seat and man the turret, and that's part of the trade-off of being in single player, as it becomes like a stationary kind of like
a stationary turret.
like,
really.
yeah, stationary
It's
turret
just
versus a
stationary
mobile turret. So we were that was just another consideration that was making this again really
Challenging.
complicated, really challenging. Of like, how do we really pull this off so it's fun no matter how you're playing?
And again, chat, we're talking about the concepts here. You know, I know there's a lot of questions for solo players, but
By the way, this is all not happening for the
Yeah.
like. We'll get
Oh,
to
yeah.
that part just so it's clear.
we're building up.
If
Let
you're
us
joining late.
Yeah, take
so
the
you
journey.
know.
Take the journey with
yeah,
us.
This is story time. We're story timing.
All right, let's go to the
Yeah,
next
let's go to
one.
the next one. Yeah, so this is more actual realization on this. Again, trying to figure out like, hey, for these cannons, and we'll show a slide in a second about still trying to realize the cannons. How big can they be? Like, if we have this too large, how does it actually obstruct that camera? We even went so far as to have two different cameras, one for who was driving,
Yep.
and one for who was actually in the turret. And can we have a bigger turret if we do that? And also, how ridiculous is this ladybug looking now with all this stuff on it? And is this even making sense anymore?
The ladybugs are tough, though. They're tough.
They are tough. It's gonna get worse, though.
It's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse.
You want to show the next one?
That's good.
All right,
Let's jump in.
Yeah, this is unrecognizable.
Yeah, so this is the first idea of having, maybe we could have like a reclining turret on the top, one that you actually sort of slide into and sit down
lazy
on.
boy.
And how would that actually work? And maybe it just makes sense to have maybe we just get rid of the turret, and how do we do that? And again, playing around with this thing to again trying to figure out how do I make this thing work? Up in the top right, that you just covered up. No, thanks for getting rid of it.
It's all good. Good job.
You can see an actual, like, effectively a gray box, although in this case more of like a pink box version of like, hey, what would this look like in game? And that's an actual mocked up prototype in game of the character in more of a reclined state, shooting the turret, which is now very similar to the ones that are at the top of the screen. And does that actually make sense from a camera standpoint? So again, a lot of just iteration on trying to figure this thing out. We can go ahead and go to the next
I will
slide.
say, hold on, before we go to the next one, I did love the reference of the playground toys with the little rocking horse thing.
Yeah.
As that being like a thing that I don't know if you ever did this as a kid, of like really like lean back and then be like flop back and forth super fast. And it did make me laugh. And that's typically how you get to my heart, is making me laugh on like thinking about like the turd just on the top bouncing around like undulating. And part of this is the spirit of like, hey, how do you make these things fun and kind of ridiculous? And I did really love that as a part solution. I don't know if I loved you dangling your feet and kicking the ladybug in the eyes as you were kind of moving forward. So yeah,
that's one of the problems here. Even as we get into what was like essentially our final co-op version of this, you can go forward again. I think we've got 2 slides before we get there.
Yeah, here we go.
This is us like, hey, how do we even want this turret attached to the top of this thing? In this case, they've got like, a quadruped spider thing to hold it in place, the sort of bowl slipping together on the right-hand side, and then in the middle move like a spring toy. Like,
I like the stacking bowl idea.
A bowl and a bowl filled with goo. So yeah, we ultimately landed on something that was very similar to that actual right-handed version, which is actually effectively invisible. But yeah, we can move forward. Again, just sort of figuring all this stuff out. And this is essentially some of the final concepts before our actual co-op version was actually largely realized in game with loose artwork, but basically this setup, this gun, this driver's seat, 2 different cameras, an understanding of how we wanted the ammo system to work with. There's actually a tank on the back that feeds into the gun, and the gun shoots water droplets that do inflict damage, and in fact are fantastic against flying creatures. So it's effectively an anti-aircraft gun. And in the co-op version too, I think you just pressed Y on an Xbox controller to switch back and forth from being in the driver's seat to sliding up and being in the turret seat. And we actually tried this where if you were in the turret seat, and I'm talking in single player now, in single player, if you were in the turret seat, we had the ladybug attack on its own, just like a normal buggy would. And so it would go and aggro whatever, and you would be on the back shooting while it was doing its thing. We also tried having it hunker down and essentially turn into a formation again,
like a siege tank.
The siege tank, yeah. So that it would stay in place where you were shooting.
Hey, go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say, this part, even though not all this stuff ever comes to fruition, like it creates so many ideas and so many thoughts of like, well, what else could we do? And I loved, it was almost like it made the buggy feel, when we allowed the buggy to move while you were shooting, it made it feel like an animal. Like if you had a tamed animal, it wouldn't just stay there stationary. If it was getting attacked, it would like attack back.
Yeah.
And I think that movement and that unpredictability super hard and can be frustrating in actual practice. Like when you actually put it out into the world, you all would be probably really mad if we ship with something like that. But also it's like a little bit like riding a bull, in my head it was like bull riding with a turret on the top, and you're just like bull riding around, and there's like chaos ensuing, and it was just a really.
So when it did it shoulder charge, you were like you were swinging because the animation is because it's stuck, the turret's stuck on top, so it was super wild.
Yeah, I think we can go for one more.
One more.
Yeah. So again, this is just a close-up of this. So the reason why we included this one here is just it was a nice close-up of it in terms of like what the realization of this thing looked like. And I want to say, like, even though we backed off of this co-op design, and what's going to be, and the winter update is going to be single player. We're going to talk about that in a second. We still love this. We still think there's promise here, that we couldn't quite crack it for this update. Doesn't mean that it's not coming in some sort of saddle update someday, because we would really love to do it. We have a lot of crazy ideas for things that we could do with Ladybug, and we still think this is viable and one that could be a lot of fun, particularly when we get into some of the later areas of the park.
And most importantly, I think for single players, one of the things we really figured out was, or that I felt really good by the time we got to the end of this, was transitioning positions on the buggy.
We did.
That felt super, super smooth. Like that had nothing to do with like any of the challenges as to why we actually moved away. Like that felt great. Like moving from position to position, and I think that's going to serve us really, really well when inevitably we do a multiplayer buggy, because like we were able to solve that kind of movement and making that feel like snappy and quick, and not kind of like punishing you if you did decide to play like solo at all. The last thing I wanted to say is one of the pieces that always makes it kind of like both fun and more complicated is you all can see like there's a bunch of like materials that we have to think about, right? And so every time we're going through anything we make, because it's so bushcraft focused, it's like, well, what is this all made of? Like, what pieces do we put together? And I think it's like the bushcraft before the bushcraft of like the like, I don't know, what would this be made out of? Oh, maybe some pumpkin bits, which might be a new thing to the garden area. Like, and we have to think about new resources and old resources to kind of keep a good economy balance as well. So I think that also just makes it fun of, this is this much work, and this is just for the ladybug. This has nothing to do with anything else that we actually have in the garden.
True.
And I think it just kind of like, I don't know, hopefully shows like, there's a lot of people, across Obsidian, but especially at Eidos, who are working really, really hard kind of every day in and day out to kind of pull this stuff together. And again, this is all leading to a thing of, we're not this thing.
This is just to set expectations. This is not happening.
Yes.
The co-op Ladybug buggy.
Yeah.
But
all right, let's move forward. Oh yeah, turret stuff.
Just some fun concept art stuff.
So this is a transition from the co-op into the single player. But the one thing here is, again, talking about materials and things like that. The reason why this slide is included in here is because like there are elements in these concepts that are really, really cool. Like when you look at the bottom left one is like, does that really look like it's like a bushcraft thing? Like most of it looks good, but the actual barrels itself feel like very World War II. They feel like super high crafted, not very bushcrafty. Again, like the middle, the bottom center version, like does that like sighting reticle make sense? Like, is that bushcrafty? No. Like the one on the top left looks pretty good. And so like we do go through a lot of conversations with this kind of stuff and try to figure out like, okay, what's simple, what works? Again, what are the materials that we're using for the bushcraft? Because we really want, when I say we, I'm talking about us and Eidos and everybody, hopefully you guys, really want all of the different elements of everything that we create to be unifying, like that pervasive feel of like all of this stuff was somehow miraculously bushcrafted, by our teens in the park using these materials. And so sometimes we go through some experiments like this, trying to nail something down like the turret on Ladybug, and have to go through a couple different iterations to find what feels like, yes, a turret, but also, yes, bushcrafty.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
So, moving forward to what does the single player version look like? And this was the initial concept. Of course, we've done so much deep work already on the Ladybug buggy that this was basically the first concept. We simplify this. We know what our cannon shape looks like. We know basically what the turret looks like. We understand the ammo. We understand what the materials look like. Just kind of how do we want this thing to look. We were able to knock this out really, really quick and have a pretty good idea moving forward. The one element of this, but kind of going back to what you were saying about the design team at IDOS, like they put so much work into that co-op version, and amazingly so. Like the work that they did was freaking brilliant. That we didn't quite have it. Like I think with enough time, we'll have it cracked. We'll do it eventually. Flipping over to this, man, they had a prototype together of this like so quickly, and it was so easy for us to step from. We're trying so hard on this co-op thing, but you know what? If we're going to finish this update in time, we have to cut bait on this and let's go do this thing because we think it will be similarly cool. And they adapted so quick and we're on this so fast. It was awesome. Yeah. So from here we move on to the last one, which is incredibly. There's another one right after this, Eric.
Oh, Slate. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. This is basically the unrendered version of what you're going to wind up seeing in the game now. And this thing, I think, controls pretty much exactly like you would expect it to control, hopefully. Run around on it and shoot, and feels pretty good. When you mount it, you hop right into the turret and can immediately shoot with stuff. You still have access to some limited melee attacks with the Ladybug. But otherwise, it doesn't really do anything while you're in the turret. This is primarily what you use it for. Again, it is freaking awesome against flyers. And I'll just say, and other fights in the update. We are still doing a lot of tuning with it right now, but this thing is working in the game. It feels really, really good right now. It took us a long time to get here, obviously, as you saw from that evolution of stuff that we were just chatting about. But I think that gave us a really good foundation, again, to maybe pursue that again in the future, and then to immediately land on this and be able to realize it really quickly, both artistically and from a design perspective and a gameplay perspective, pretty much all at the same time. And so pretty excited about where this is going right now. I talked a lot there, Marcus.
I'm just letting you roll, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to
No,
get.
you're very-
Also,
People
if
like to see the passion.
I get more tempted to. I'm staying quiet because I get more tempted to like say things that I know I shouldn't say.
Child's on
spoil
vacation,
things.
so
So that's why I'm like listening and I'm kind of thinking like I could say that thing. I don't know how many people will be mad at me for saying this thing. So we'll keep clicking and maybe I'll come back to saying more
okay.
things.
All right. So let's move with some more concepts.
Yeah. This is where I'll start talking.
You want to start talking?
No, go for it. No, go ahead. Go for it. Yeah, keep going.
I want to say, like, we embrace the idea of having different saddles for the different buggies. Obviously, some of these things are a little ways off. But just like I had mentioned, hey, there's room for us to still have that co-op buggy saddle in the future. That is not the only Ladybug saddle that we've ever discussed. At some point in the future, like, there's a couple different things. These are some concepts for effectively what is a Ladybug combine, a Ladybug tractor, right? Like, flip to the next one.
Maybe things protect you in heat. Maybe things can help harvest the different materials. Maybe things are better as battering rams. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But the idea that you can maybe hook something onto your Ladybug and use it as like effectively what is a lawnmower or a harvesting tool, use it as a battering ram, all kinds of stuff. And these are the sorts of things that we talk about pretty regularly. And part of the fun of actually sharing this in this environment with you guys is like, it'll be fun to hear from you about like, man, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a terrible idea. Wow, why would you guys, aren't you guys supposed to be professional game makers? How did you possibly come up with that idea? Like, I think all of these things are make sense to us. So, wanted to include these, just say, like, there's lots of places to go. One of the things, actually, side story, just to go crazy off topic with
Bring
things
the
I
camera
should never
back,
bring
Marco.
up, is that I, really early on in the project, and part of the reason why I think it turned into a co-op buggy in the first place, was because I just loved this idea that, like, the Ladybug, you could put, like, effectively, like a truck camper on the back of.
Yeah, you wanted to make
turrets.
the Ladybug a trailer.
I wanted to make it an Oliphant from Lord of the Rings, with all the kids up on the
man,
top of
that would've
it,
been
shooting
sick.
their bows
Which
and
is,
arrows down.
again, to go back to it, which
the
is
way-
why all of those things sticking off the side of the Ladybug that makes it look unbalanced, like it was
Yeah.
just a big top, that came, from the wonderful mind of Chris Parker.
from the unedited, unproperly edited mind of Chris Parker. So yeah, there's lots of ideas that we haven't. It'll be interesting to see which ones actually work and which ones we can realize. But this has been our journey with the Ladybug so far. It's been pretty cool.
I also want to make to lower expectations, because I'm always a lower expectation person.
That's a good idea.
Is,
That's a good idea.
Is that base one that you saw with the turret definitely shipping? We'll talk to you more about it in January. All these upgrades in January, I wouldn't get your hopes up for that. But this is stuff for the future.
This is exploratory stuff.
People ask for things for, like, what
This
are
is
we
all-
thinking about beyond, and this is kind of even beyond kind of our big content
Yep.
update in January. So I
still-
just want to call that out too, just to ruin everyone's day.
We still have a long roadmap ahead of us. A lot of content updates coming up after this one.
Yeah.
And so, expanding buggy abilities over that time is something we're very excited about. And so, I just want to say these are the sorts of things that we explore.
I think it's cool to show this stuff though, because it's showing that we and the team at IDOS are exploring things. And we're not just thinking of one thing; we're thinking of other possibilities for the future. It may work out, or it may not. Because a lot of times there's a lot of prototypes that just don't work and doesn't get into the game. But I think it's cool to showcase this to the community.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll keep doing it. Unless you all hate it, then we'll stop doing it, I guess. That's what we'll do.
That's this is in effect its own. This is its own prototype. This is a prototype casually grounded.
Oh, how can we forget this? Also,
Jump in.
you need your buggy. Your buggy needs its own space. Your buggy needs its own place to sleep. So these are some early concepts of kind of like thinking about your buggy den. And I really love where we actually ended up going with this one, because it's more adorable. Like, the Ladybug is an initial creature that is both terrifying and adorable. Like, it's both always at the same time. And I think that, putting a bunch of spikes on it as the immediate reaction of, like, how do we build a saddle for the Ladybug, it speaks to that, like, the terrifying part. I think this buggy den kind of buggy base is what speaks to the adorable part, especially the next iteration. But we did want to show some of these earlier ones of, like, they were more of, like, tent inspired versus the one we ended up getting to,
Yeah.
which was.
Well, we got two
Here
more.
we go.
This is where we start going, though, kind of in terms of iteration, which was just a buggy sleeping bag, which I think is just it's like. We got to figure out a way to maybe make. This is me just doing things. See, this is why I don't talk as much, Chris. I'm gonna be quiet right after this. We got to figure out a way you can, like, snug in there, like just like a sleep animation that if you wanted to, you could just, like, snug in right close with your Ladybug buggy to stay warm.
The
The first one looks like a Ladybug, like Hot Pocket.
That's what it's a hot pocket.
No,
Yeah,
it's a sleeping bag.
It is a
A
sleeping,
sleeping bag is
but-
a hot pocket.
Yeah.
It's literally a hot
It
pocket.
looks like a very gourmet
They
dish.
can't use they don't have opposable thumbs to do zippers.
I'm just saying it looks delicious. I don't know. It looks edible.
You want to go to the next one?
The next one. Next one's very close.
The next
and
one's closer to
and then the
the
last one is the
iteration-
final
the final
concept.
iteration.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll go to the next one.
This one gets closer.
This one's getting very close.
But
Again,
it needed a little more pizzazz to it. That's like that was the thought of this one. It's like, oh, it looks kind of like it does look like
Yeah.
a meat pocket.
Yeah, it's like an empanada or something with a leaf dressing on the bottom.
It totally does.
It looks great though.
It does. But ultimately, I think we are going to end up with this last one. What's up,
this next
John?
one.
The great John
There
Lewis.
you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this
Add
is
a little
kind
bit
of
of
more-
color that is more appropriate,
Can we go,
I think, to the Ladybug.
Full screen, please, Chris.
And yeah, this is basically what it's going to look like realized
Your
in the
buggy
game.
hot pocket.
Very close.
This would be a fun one. Yeah, so this is kind of where your buggy will sleep, as the last part of the buggy journey between kind of saddles. Your buggy. Why do I keep saying buggy dens and buggy bases? Why am I blanking?
I don't know.
Buggy
Okay.
nest?
Yeah,
It's a
your
nest.
your nest.
Well,
I don't know. Like I
nest.
couldn't. I
Sorry.
like.
Nest, spider nest, I guess is ladybug
I don't know why
nest.
I was spacing on that. Anyway, this is kind of where it'll go of like how we're doing this. This is the end, right?
This is the end.
That's the end.
Yeah,
That's
that's the end.
the
That
slideshow.
was our discussion of Ladybug.
That's the discussion of Ladybug. I'm confident that this is just like, feels like, oh, well then what about like, show us more of the biome. Show us like 50,000 of the creatures that you're thinking about planning and making. Maybe we'll show you that more later. Maybe we'll do this more regularly and show you more of that stuff later. We want to start with the Ladybug because I had kind of started this with like talking about our change for the Ladybug. So
Yeah,
we're like, let's
like-
finish
Right.
that story.
I think a while back we talked about that we're not doing the co-op
Yep.
ladybug buggy.
Yep.
We're saving that for something later. But I was
Well,
good.
you said maybe not.
I said maybe not.
Yeah.
I
You
always
said
will
maybe
caveat.
not. And the nice thing actually about that was you saying maybe not and casually grounded made a lot of people go like, should it be not? And then we had some conversations and made it not. So yeah, it was good. It was good.
Just to recap, and then I'm sure we're down to answer a few questions if we have the time. I don't know.
yeah,
how
we
much time
have we have some time to answer some questions.
We can answer. We can answer the questions that we can answer, but
Don't
just
say them yet because we're still
don't
talking.
say them yet. Just the recap, though. We now have two types of updates. We have content updates, which are the big, meaty updates. Those are the things that biomes, new buggies, new creatures, new quests. And then we have feature updates, and those are going to be tighter, kind of more technical focus updates, or also like more subtle feature updates, like tweaks to the Omni tool, or even things like I'll even call like the Axel boss fight, even though that's content. We'll put that in the bucket of feature updates, and we're trying to call these two different things so you all know what to be excited about, when to come back, all those sort of things. Our next feature update, which will be upgrade to Unreal 5.6, a bunch of like kind of performance and optimization stuff, and then the holiday content that we showed at the beginning. That'll be out in very early December. We don't have a exact date yet, but it'll be super early December. Our next content update, which is the big kind of garden biome one, we'll have news about that in January. We'll talk about it in January. We'll share everything with you all then. I know it stinks, but we're still not late technically because winter is big. Winter is coming. That's what they say, at least. Winter is coming. So I know that people are excited, and we definitely want to kind of give you all as much as possible as soon as possible. But we want to make sure it's good. We want to make sure you all like it. And we also want to make sure the game is great and stable. So when your friends inevitably join, they have a good time too. So we're trying to clean that up as we go as well. So,
All right, great.
anything else? Did I miss anything in my summary recap?
No, I think that's perfect.
Okay. And we're gonna do these more often of just giving you a peek behind the curtains, telling you what we're doing.
Yeah, Unreal 5.6.
5.6
Yep.
to be specific. There is no Unreal 6 yet.
Yep.
Don't send Epic after me.
I can't wait for Unreal 6.7 though. That's gonna be great.
Don't stop. Please don't do that. I hated everything. Oh, my skin is crawling. I'm so angry. I'm so angry right now. Please don't. Please don't.
All right. Let's
pivot out of this.
let's.
We made a commitment not
That's
to
a
do
great
this.
way to transition to.
That's just poo poo. That's all I gotta say. That's just straight poo poo.
That's caca. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Let's open up both chats, Twitch and YouTube, to we'll do some questions, a little Q&A. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get slow mode on and ask away, chat. If I have bought the Mimidar's pack to get these, will the sketches be added to the art book? That's a great question.
We will be updating the art book with each major content update. So with the announcement that we make in January, when we actually come up with that update, we will update it. Some of these might be in there, some of them won't. Well, we just kind of like pick and choose what concept art we really love.
There's so much
have.
art. There's so much.
But some of that will be in there for sure.
For the stuff that we showed you guys today, like a lot of that stuff was like very experimental concepts. Like these are things that these are super, super talented concept artists, right? And so we have ideas, they go work on stuff for like a few hours or a day, and we'll come up with a ton of different ideas, and then we can kind of hone in on those things. The more realized concepts take a bit longer. And so the things that tend to show up in the art book tend to be the more realized, more final concepts. The stuff that we showed you today was a little bit more about the process, and so you saw a lot of stuff that was like very work in progress, very like stuff that for sure was going to get left on the cutting room floor because you're taking a ton of ideas and you're throwing them all at the wall and seeing what's going to stick, and then what are you going to move forward with. And so what you saw today was like 90% of that will not appear in an art book.
Someone asked about a question on the buggy no longer wanting to hug you all the time. So the way we're trying to see is that the buggy will have a distance now. So like if you're chopping down a grass plank or harvesting and a resource node, and the buggy comes and jumps into your face, and now you're riding your buggy. There's a set distance so they won't be in your face all the time. So you can keep harvesting without your buggy wanting to hug you.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
It was just tweaks to sort of their behavior in terms of their follow distance and them respecting a little bit more distance. And basically what you said, Eric.
Yeah, FSR will be in the December update, as well as, I always say this wrong, DLSS.
Yes.
Yes. What else? The chats are moving quick.
Steve repeated, you can't have Chris's car. Sorry. Other Chris behind the computer. Let's see.
Hopefully anything, I'm trying to bucket some of these together. So again, part of our early December update is a technical and performance one. So any hey, what are we doing to fix? There's a million reasons why you may have certain things, whether it's like latency or frame rate. But the upgrade to 5.6, in addition to some of the other tweaks that we're making, is hopefully going to address some of those things, whether you're a multiplayer or a single player. And if it doesn't, we'll keep fixing it until it does.
Gonna keep working on it.
We know builders want curtains. It's on the suggestion list, and the dev teams are very aware of the need for that. Our merch store is not open currently right now, so when the Xbox Gear Ship gets back online, we'll have grounded merch back.
Frame generation, we're not going to have at this stage. We're looking to add that in the future. This is like base FSR DLSS.
Did you hit on coziness or?
So actually, I totally did not do that.
Or
peeper. Coziness will be back in for the this feature update, the early December feature update, turning coziness back on so that we can start getting some feedback and make sure that all the values still make sense and all that kind of stuff. And anything that was new is actually accounted for properly. And then also, we have an update for the Peeper. The Peeper 2.0 is going in. That is not 100% of everything we want to do with the Peeper, to be honest. But its initial update is there, and it's in and doing stuff that we wanted to do. And so, that's also in there.
So a lot of people are asking stuff about, thank you, I just remember that, and I want to make sure we touched on some of the other stuff that'll be in the December update. A lot of people are asking about like higher tier stuff, like higher tier creatures and higher tier Omni tool and weapons and stuff. That will come in the content update that we'll talk about more in January. That's where that's where we'll start adding more higher tier stuff. I know people want higher tier things. That's when it will come.
Yeah, Playgrounds won't be in the December update. We're still cooking on some things.
Playgrounds will be sooner than Grounded 1, though, is what I'll say about Playgrounds. We want to bring Playgrounds in earlier.
Oh, follow your lead on that one. Sounds good.
Can we get a
build limit slider? So, did we?
We did talk about this.
Did we put the toggle in for the build limit already? Was that already in there? Is that in the build?
Do
you guys out there, is the toggle for the build limit in there?
It's not in currently. No, I don't.
It's not in currently?
No.
Okay.
We played different versions of the game than you all, so we don't know.
So many versions of the game.
Yeah.
I believe that's in this early December patch. So I know that the initial work on it was done, so that should be like right around the corner. and that'll just let you turn that off so the building limit isn't there, particularly for PC folks.
Yeah, mega builders.
Yeah, mega builders for sure. And then that'll just have some warnings on it, primarily for the Series S, which, the memory constraints are a little tighter on.
Yeah.
And I see Tiny, just for Tiny, there is a new reduction on the amount of pebblets required to make pebblet floors or roads.
Oh yeah, they were like 3 before, I think. Or sorry,
It was
they were
10.
10
It
before.
was
Now
10.
I think they're
Now,
2 or 3.
I think we got down to 3.
Yeah, I think it's 2 or 3.
So 3 pebblets instead of
Yep.
10.
There was another overly expensive economy piece in that same bit of community feedback. We also changed. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but yeah, definitely the pebblet path/road is changed.
I noticed some people are asking about kind of PTB timing for this first feature update in December. There won't be a PTB; it'll be available to everyone in early
Yep.
December. Moving forward, though, will PTB basically all of our updates, whether they're a feature update or their content update, we'll start PTBing them ahead of time, and those are a few weeks before it comes out for kind of like the official release date. So, what else is on here? See anything fun, Chris?
Will there be any chance of for the Red Ant Soldier buggy to have an upgrade to chop higher tier resources?
Buggy progression is on our roadmap.
Buggy progression is on our roadmap. So I'll be honest with you. The idea of chopping higher tier stuff, yes. There was a bit of an internal debate. I'll go down a road I shouldn't go down about whether higher tier ants could also do things like bust. Like, I don't know how that makes sense in the world, but since they are sort of the like harvesty general purpose buggy, like maybe that would make sense and make them more versatile. And maybe that only means that like, oh, it can chop tier 2, but it can bust tier 1. There's been a lot of debate about that, and I don't think we've really landed on what everybody wants to do. But yes, the idea is that as part of buggy progression, you will upgrade saddles, and that will have certain benefits, like allowing them to chop higher tier stuff.
Or mow your lawn.
For sure.
Point in the future.
Yep.
So we had the grass regrow to fix an issue, and it was like a one-time regrow. Even though if people deforested all the grass, we had to for the specific fix to make the right resources grow back. We had to make everything grow back. So I mean, we do apologize, but now you got more resources.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if you want to talk about that one. A way to transport bases.
We've talked about it.
So we've talked about
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I mean, that's one of our eventual goals for the Ladybug buggy. Actually, is to be able to put a bunch of stuff in some sort of mega storage compartment so that you could haul it to a new base. Haven't quite cracked that one yet. The higher level version of that I know the community asked for is how do I essentially template an entire base and then take the materials and then drop it off someplace else. That's technically a lot more difficult because
the blueprint system for your whole base.
Using a whole base blueprint system, because dropping that on different terrain and stuff like that can be pretty tricky. So it's not impossible though. It's something we know y'all want, and hell, it's something I want too. There are plenty of times where I'm like, why did I build, like, using the early access version? Like, this is great. I've got all my stuff on my base is right here in front of the first ranger station. And by the time you're like halfway through the content, you're like, why did I build this here? I want it to be all the way up at the lectern, or wherever. And not being able to easily transport that stuff is a hassle. So it would be really cool to do that. We agree with you, 100%.
I saw a question about updating our roadmap. We will plan to do a more formal update of the roadmap in January when we do kind of the announcement of the winter updates.
Already working on it.
We are working on that, and
Yeah,
we'll
working
have
on
an update of the roadmap. I also saw a couple questions about like more big baddies like Axel. Heck yeah, we're gonna add more big baddies like Axel. So yeah, I mean. Nothing to share today that I would want to spoil, but yeah, we're 100%. We will add more of those. There will be many more boss fights added to Grounded 2.
Yeah. And that said, I just want to remind people that we are still in early access. We just came out in July, at the end of July. So I know the people are starved for more content for the game, but these things take time. And again, we're still in the very early developments of Grounded 2. So, you just got to let us cook. Because for us to give out more meaningful, beefy content.
Yeah, I love that people want to play Grounded every single day, and if you do want to do that, thank you. Like thank you so much for wanting to do that. Also, because we're in early access and we're working through it, the reason we try to share this stuff and we try to give a roadmap is to give you all an indication of when to come back. If you do stop playing and you just want to engage and talk with us for a while, that's totally cool too. And then we'll tell you hey, we have this big major update. Maybe you're for some reason you're excited about Unreal 5.6 and you really want to jump in at that point in time. Great, come back in December. Oh, was that hey? What's up?
There's some
random OG Grounded folks walking around. What's up, Robbie?
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on, Robbie?
What's up, Robbie?
You want to say hi?
Some people in the chat might remember Robbie back here. Look at him. Look at him. They all do still exist in some way, shape, or form. Right. But yeah, if you're excited about that, or if you really want to wait for kind of the garden biome and that's excited, or you want a certain tier of weapon, we will tell you, and then we want you to come back and join. And so we'll try to make it as fun as possible to play as long as possible. But during this time, there probably will be times where it's okay, and we appreciate that you're here.
Yeah,
it's okay. And we appreciate you coming back and taking a break for a while too.
Yeah, there's so many other great games out there that spend your time playing other games, and then when we have a huge beefy update or two, then come back.
Yeah.
Just to talk a little bit about sausage getting made, I will say that we clearly heard. Give us more stuff to build. And recently made some big schedule changes. I can't really talk about what those things are, but in our roadmap, we made some pretty significant adjustments to provide more of that stuff sooner. And we already knew that we were a little light on it, but we were like, you know what, we got to do better about this. And so we've just been doing that. And that kind of goes too to we recognize you don't have anything to do right now. Well, if we gave you more stuff to build, if there was more stuff to harvest, if there was more interesting stuff there, I think that would help out with that, right? That would help me out with that. And so we just made some changes to that. Again, behind the scenes, sorry I can't share that with you, but definitely moved up a bunch of stuff in our planned roadmap to deliver that stuff to y'all sooner. So you have that stuff to engage with and build cooler stuff with.
If we're making more stuff to build, can we get bigger palettes sooner than later? Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I think Lord of Dreams, if you're having a bug issue, please contact us at support.
Yeah,
the
bigger
tier
palettes.
2 palettes.
Yeah, bigger palettes are a good idea. I don't know where those are in the roadmap. We've talked about them.
Can someone explain to me, what does this Chris's car mean?
So Thieverpedia and Chris Stanek over here
what is this
have
Chris's
a long history.
Yeah.
This is Grounded 1 lore with Chris and the Grounded community. And Chris at the time got a new car, and Thiever would like that car. So,
that's it.
Yeah, that's the
whole
lore.
thing.
That's the lore. And Chris says no every time. So. Understandably.
All right, Chris, we're going to give your car away in the next...
Yeah, the Coltana is in the game. Gaver.
Yeah.
The spicy Coltana, yeah.
Arnov. Sorry, the text is really small on YouTube. I can't see.
Yeah. It's a hard one to get. It's very end of the actual story content. Current version.
Super Rinsler. I thought I was going to say Rizzler. Unless it is. Yeah, we're constantly always trying to improve multiplayer performance and connectivity. Just like we're always going to be improving performance as we're in early access. So those things are always going to be happening.
I don't want community lore. You lost the battle, by the way. That's all I'll say to you. I win. I always win. And we got another one for you too. What else?
Oh, that said,
people were asking how long early access will be. as long as it needs to be to get the game right, that's what I'll say back. But
I mean, that's a good answer.
yeah. But hopefully it won't be forever. I mean, if you remember how we kind of did Grounded 1, like we want to update the game. We have a finish line in mind. We want that to get there. So, yeah, we will work to get the game out of early access. That is not a perpetual early access thing, but we want to take the time to get it right.
And I was going to mention this in the Discord, discord.gg/grounded the game. To all our playground builders, send me the things that you thought you would love to have from Grounded 1 to be in the Grounded 2 version of Playgrounds. I would love to get those feedback and suggestions.
That's a great one.
On things you would like to see in Playgrounds.
And to clarify something, because I saw this question pop up as well, when we said we had a multiplayer version of the Ladybug and then a single player version of the Ladybug, you were always, multiplayer works like multiplayer always works. That wouldn't mean like only multiplayer players would get this buggy. It would just meant that it was a multiplayer buggy and that two players could be riding the same buggy at the same time. That's the only distinction. So the content would always be the same in terms of like whether it was multiplayer or single player. It was just how it was used and could it be used with more than one person. Just to clear that up.
Oh, I see a question about buggy smoothies. So just to note, there is buggy healing going in. That is not smoothies, at least not yet. Right now, it is buggy bandages and healing arrows that will also heal buggies. So that's just the start. We know people want to be able to buff buggies and heal buggies in the same way they're able to buff and heal themselves. We get that. We want to do that too. First step was these couple of things that we got in. Pretty sure those are in that December update. I've seen them. They work. So I'm pretty sure they're in there.
Buggy Band-Aids is my favorite thing.
And if not, I'd also be frantically angry with me about saying
There's
that
going to be so many messages when this stream ends.
Right? Yeah. We'll see.
Could you expand on Peeper 2.0?
Look, the important thing is that all the Peeper
Instead of one
functionality
Peeper,
works.
you now have two.
And part of the big update was that we didn't feel that this was appropriate for the kids, right? And so,
So now
we
it's
knew
like
that we wanted
now it's
it.
like this, like a binocular.
Now it's this.
Yeah. We wanted it to essentially be part of the Scabby 2000 interface, and so there's an interface facelift there, and then there's some changes with functionality. Again, we're going to be continuing to add things in that the Peeper is capable of doing in the future. But this was it's funny that we're calling it 2.0 because it's like actually it's more like 1.1, but whatever. We'll continue to add to that in the future. Anyhow, looks cool. Definitely looks cool.
Not as cool as my Peeper, but yeah, it still looks cool.
Yeah.
It looks like it's slowing down. Unless we missed something.
Yeah, we got about let's do 2 more minutes. And
more minutes.
If any more questions come in the next 2 minutes, we'll try to answer them. Good day, Ozzy. Anything you want to answer, Marcus?
I'm looking.
Oh. Accurate Cake is asking about respawning and triggering orc creatures after the story. So we recognize that that's an issue. We were actually just talking about that last week. We're going to explore some things. What I expect to happen here is that we will come up with, and don't hold me to this, I think we're going to come up with a temporary solution for early access where you're sort of able to grind this stuff and maybe restart things like mixers or orc waves, but that will have a correct, more in-world solution for this by the time we actually finish early access at some point. But I think that there's a gap there right now that people want to be able to grind these creatures, and by actually doing the things the game asks you to do, it turns off the ability to do that. You effectively fix the problem, and now you can't grind them, you can't get the gold cards, can't do anything. So I think we're going to find a temporary solution for that. It'll probably be something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but will allow you to do it anyway.
A couple of ones that we always answer, but I don't mind it because people come in. Lots of questions about, hey, are there old Grounded 1 creatures that'll make their way to Grounded 2? I'll say for all the base creatures in Grounded 1, if they're a base creature, we absolutely plan to bring them to Grounded 2. So any of your favorite base creatures, we plan to bring to Grounded 2 over the course of early access. Also, people always ask, and I'll keep answering it until I have more news about like, oh, the TV show stuff for Grounded. Still working on it. I'll just be honest with you, it takes a really long time. I don't know, the Hollywood stuff is like a bit different than anything else, but we're still working on it. There's still plans to try to make it work. We're still excited about it, so we're still cooking on that in the background. As a disclosure to the usual questions. And then people ask about weather. We'll try things over time.
That is a response. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. You guys, anything else? Anything last bits you want to say before the last Grounded stream of the year?
I'll only say, in addition to like other pieces of feedback and stuff like that, like, hey, you know what? If you want to hop up and say whether you liked this particular Casually Grounded with us like going and talking about our trials, our tribulations, successes and failures with Ladybug and how we kind of like what that journey sort of looked like. If that was cool and you guys want us to do more of that, like let us know. I think it's cool. I think it will also like spawn ideas in the community as you see like maybe some of our ideas, you might build off of them or have better ideas that are similar or like adjacent to what we're throwing out there. And I think that's super cool. But let us know. These are about hanging out with the community. So
yeah,
if you like it, right on.
So
let us know.
Also, if you hate it, let us know too, because then we don't have to do it.
Correct. It's one less PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marcus.
Yeah, we're gonna try to change things, the structures up wise for the Casually Grounded streams starting next year. Like, well, it'll just be like the comms team, and then we'll have like a fireside chat where we have the devs on, and starting next year, we'll have people from the IDOS Montreal joining us on stream remotely. So you guys get to learn and get to know about the developers from IDOS who are working so beautifully and hard on this game.
Yep.
And then we're gonna be bringing back content creators who want to join us on the Obsidian channel and stream with us. So we'll be changing the format starting next year. So it's gonna be awesome.
A little bit of a break, but it's going to be awesome when we get back.
It's going to be awesome, and we'll end with thank you as always. Like, we don't get to do this without all of y'all's support and playing the game, and so we really, really appreciate you all just supporting the game and being here. Hope everyone has a great holiday. We'll be back in January with some heat.
Yeah.
Get excited.
So yeah, but yeah, we'll still be around even though we won't be streaming. So the best place is joining the Grounded Discord at discord.gg/ or Grounded the Game. And if you're having any support issues or bug issues you want to report to us, support.obsidian.net. That's the base place to report bugs to us, and so we can investigate it. And if we're hiring, Marley, obsidian.net is our website /careers, and see if we have any job postings. And internships are opening up as well. So if you would love to intern here at Obsidian Entertainment, it is a paid internship. Hit us up. But yeah, thank you guys for such an incredible year. Thank you to the Grounded community. Again, the game wouldn't be what it is today without all of you and all your feedback and suggestions. And thank you to our content creators for keeping the hype alive and helping us reach $40,000 for Extra Life, benefiting the Children's Hospital Orange County. So yeah, big shout out to you guys. And yeah, we'll see you in the next year. Have a great one. As always, stay safe and stay grounded. Bye everybody.
See ya.
Thanks, y'all.